come to order. Please note, if you wish to be heard at this meeting, please sign the speaker list provided on the table to my right side of the council chamber. I reserve the right to limit the amount of time each speaker has for each agenda item. If everybody will rise for the invocation by Reverend Warren H. Litchfield, and the mayor will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Almighty God, we gather this evening hour to conduct the business of this city. We offer our prayer for our mayor, for the president, for the members of the city council, and for all in authority. Grant unto them a sense of justice, strength, and wisdom as they perform their duties on behalf of all thy people. We commend this city, this county, this state, this nation, and its people to thy merciful care and understanding. Remember those who lie upon a bed of affliction. Comfort those who mourn. In the name of the one who is Lord of life, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, Ms. Rowe.
Mr. DeWalt?
Here.
Mr. Sidnor?
Here.
Ms. Nicholas?
Here.
Mr. Smalls?
Here.
President Les?
Here.
Mayor Mel?
Here.
Thank you. Move to agenda item number 5. Approval of minutes of the 10th meeting of April 9th, 2018. We've had the minutes. Are there any corrections or additions? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. Do I have a second?
A second, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Sidnor. Call the roll, Ms. Rowe.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Mr. Sidnor?
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
President Les?
Yes. Okay, we have agenda item number 5A, report of the city administrator. Ms. Fleming, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Report of city activities over the last 2 weeks, and I will start this evening with the Department of Economic Development. Economic Development put on a very successful business resource fair at the library on the 12th of April. It was very successful and very well attended. The Department of Public Works, I apologize. They are also working on the 2020 census address update in preparation to meet with the census takers and their coordinators. So that's coming up on us pretty fast. The Department of Public Works, if you've been driving around, you probably noticed that Cherry Lane is currently being paved. I'd like to commend the Public Works Department for having their line painting activities right after the paving crew goes through. Cherry Lane is a wide road, and for that to be left without any lane markings would be a fairly significant hazard. Public Works has begun the 2018 spring tree planting. They're using funds from developers to replace trees that have died, and also where they can, where they're receiving requests, planting new trees where none existed before. If you've been up and down Main Street the last 2 weeks, Public Works, in concert with the Board of Trade and our Information Technology Department, have been outfitting the street lights on Main Street with brackets for the PA system. We have tried a variety of PAs to accomplish public address at the Main Street Festival, and we've had some difficulties. We've gone back to the basics here, and I think we have a system that will work very well for us this year. Public Works has also completed the roadway inspection inventory list. This is in preparation for assembling a list for their in-house asphalt repairs. Public Works is also on the summer schedule for citywide street sweeping. They do have routes, but if you are aware of location that is in particular need, please give them a call. They'll be right on it, I assure you. Public Works has also completed a rather lengthy inspection of the brick sidewalks on Main Street in an effort to compile a repair list, and they will be working on that in preparation for the Main Street Festival. Next is Parks and Recreation. They have an attendance of over 500 people at their Easter extravaganza, which was co-sponsored by the Laurel Lions Club and supported by Parks and Rec. A very successful event. They have also completed white coating the tile work at the municipal pool. I believe the pools this year will be opened on schedule. Is that not? I'd like to extend my appreciation to Joanne and her staff for a rather hectic pace that they've been maintaining to make sure the pool is repaired and up for the health department inspection. They also held a successful Public Works river cleanup where some large pieces of debris and multiples of trash were collected. And they also played a significant role in assisting with the mayor's open house that we just had. They held a quarterly tree board meeting in preparation for the Arbor Day celebration, which is April 26th at Emancipation Park, and that's at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. They assisted the Laurel Arts Council with the second Saturday Artist Block Fair, and they assisted the First Baptist Community Church with their event at McCullough Field this past weekend. Next is communications. During the week of March 25th, Laurel TV covered the opening of the City of Laurel's first ever adult gaming lounge. Xanadu was packed with gamers of all ages. On April 5th, 2018, the Department of Communications taped a 2-hour training session on harassment for the local government insurance trust. Dozens of City of Laurel employees were involved in the taping, which included a rollout of the city's new policy against harassment. The local government insurance trust intends to use it to train clients across the state. Laurel TV also launched a new show called Your Finances, Your Future, which will begin airing next week. Next is the police department. The police department assisted with a number of Easter-related events throughout the city, including the city's Parks and Recreation extravaganza. On April 3rd, the chief met with staff at the Laurel, at the LARS and discussed current issues and concerns to include the opioid epidemic, active shooter response, and other issues. On April 5th, members of the police department attended the local government insurance trust, hosted harassment training conducted at City Hall. On April 6th, the police department responded to a lengthy barricade situation, which resulted in a successful resolution. We're sorry to say that Major Patrick Bray announced his retirement, which was effective April 13th after a 21-year stellar career. On April 13th at 7 p.m., the chief participated in the opioid town hall meeting held by the First United Methodist Church. On Saturday, March 17th, 2018, the police department conducted a DUI checkpoint at Route 1 and 2nd Street. 606 vehicles were checked with 2 arrests. On March 22nd, 2018, Chief McLaughlin participated in a community meet at the Vistas apartment complex to address concerns of area residents. On April 9th through the 13th was National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. The department's communications dispatchers were recognized by the department. It's a tough job for those dispatchers, but they hang in there. 4 area elementary schools visited the department to learn more about their police department. On April 9th, 2018, the police department conducted Dare Day for students from Bond Mill Elementary School. Students from Scotchtown Hills Elementary participated in Dare Day on April 17th, and on April 18th, students from Laurel Elementary School participated in their Dare Day as well. Deerfield Elementary School will participate on April the 27th. On April 14th, 2018, members of the Police Department Community Policing Unit participated in the CAFE Community Day in Landover. This event was held to bring attention to domestic violence. On April 20th, the police department participated in a career day event at Scotchtown Hills Elementary School. Moving on to the fire marshal, the demolition of 2 vacant houses on Van Dusen Road was completed in preparation for a new townhouse development. The grading permit for that development has been issued, and you may have seen some grading activity on that site already. Also on Friday, April 6th, the department responded to a call from the police department about a truck which hit the CSX bridge. The Public Works Department responded as well. As it turned out, the flashing warning sign that we had up there, the top part of it, which is the most visible portion of the sign, was not working at the time. Tractor trailer drove through there and was wedged underneath the bridge. They were successfully extracted. The sign is being repaired. The parts are on order. We expect them up now. Okay, great. Thank you, Reverend. Moving on, Budget and Personnel Services. They are currently reviewing and updating human resource policies per federal and state laws. A very tedious task involving all the department heads. I would like to extend my appreciation to Michelle and Mike Green for their labor in this effort. Working with IT to implement electronic acknowledgement system for employee review of the city policies. This is a system that we will employ where city employees can access all the policies online. When a new policy is distributed, they can access it and they can do actually sign off on it electronically that they received it and acknowledge it. That's my report, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Fleming. Any questions of Mr. Fleming? Okay, we'll move to agenda item number 6, report of the mayor and city council. Tonight we'll start with Mr. Sidnor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I attended a sit in the park with the mayor and the rest of the city council staff. Also attended a Prince George County Municipal Association meeting on April the 19th. Some items I want to report that I found very interesting that didn't pass and one that did pass. The first thing that passed, well, I didn't say the first thing, but one thing that I thought was interesting is that affordable housing, HB 236, Affordable Housing Commission, they passed a commission to form a committee to affordable housing in Prince George County. So the committee can be made up of a representative of Builders Association of Maryland, the Maryland Association of Realtors, banking institution, affordable housing municipality members, and 4 members from the public. I think that's a good commission to form in the county because, you know, houses is very expensive here. And so to have a committee like that to investigate that can be very helpful. Also, what I found was, actually, I think it's a problem personally that HB 1526, SB 344, in the state of Maryland, you have to be a United States citizen to be a police officer. But you know, President Bush in 2002 signed an executive order that allowed non-citizens to serve in the United States military during the time of war. So me being a military person myself, that you can serve our country in the United States Armed Forces, but you can't be a police officer in the state of Maryland. So that bill did not make it out of the committee. So hopefully next year that bill can get passed, and you know, because that's kind of disheartening, I think. And also, what's making it ironic is that I lost my paperwork here. I was all organized. Anyway, the executive director of the Maryland Training Academy wrote a letter stating that they're looking for minorities to join the police force, and Latinos, African Americans, and women. But here you are, have military personnel that can serve the United States military that's not citizens, and they probably get a good rate of minorities to join police force in the state of Maryland. So I think that's a committee that I want to work on next year if I'm still here with the state. Other than that, I attended Earth Day this past Saturday, cleaned the park and direct parks out there. It was a real good conversation we had. And that's it. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sidnor. Move to Mr. Smalls.
Thank you, Mr. President. To start my report, I'd like to recognize my pastor, Pastor Will Butler from Queens Chapel United Methodist Church. It's been asked of me whether he's here to watch me or actually watch the proceedings that take place here in the chambers, and I defer to a little of both. I'd like to direct folks' attention to this book, Christmas with Papa and Mamuski. This is a book written by Carol Nash. Carol Nash, as some of you know, is the founder of Bernadette's House. This book is for sale. It's directed at young girls, but it has a message in here for all young people. So I encourage folks, I'll leave it up here if folks want to just take a look at it, but it is mine.
It's on Amazon, right?
It's on Amazon, yes. I just want to comment on the paving project that is taking place on Cherry Lane. Since I live off Cherry Lane, I've had the occasion to drive up and down the street on multiple occasions. It appears to me that the project is going extremely well. On my way here, it looks like they're doing the last phase of it just before, right there at Van Dusen Road. On May 1st, there'll be a town hall meeting at the senior center to talk about the redevelopment of the Laurel Regional Hospital campus. That's a public meeting. The documentation, the certificate of need, has been submitted by to the regulatory bodies. And within the period from the time of submittal, they have 30 days to hold a public hearing. So May 1st is that date. I don't have the time, but I believe it starts around 7. You certainly can check. I'm sure it'll be announced in a number of outlets. I attended on Saturday a town hall meeting that was held by Congressman Anthony Brown, that was held at the Laurel Library. And I also attended a fundraising event for Laurel Cats at Lido's. I was told, and I certainly believe it, that the feral cat, stray cat population in and around the city is reducing significantly. That's in part because the program, as designed, takes a period of time to actually work, but because there are no kittens that are, because of spay and neutering, the population is decreasing. Some of the cats are dying off and some of them are just moving on. So that's a positive thing. That's my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. Next, move to Mr. DeWalt.
Thank you. On April 5th, I also attended the sexual harassment, workplace harassment at City Hall, put on by Legit. The actual attorney that represents Legit in these cases actually put it on, and it was very educational and worthwhile to attend that for 2 hours. I also attended on April 12th at the library for the Small Business Forum conducted by Christian and Leah. Now, this is the second one I've attended. The other one was at City Hall, and that was a huge success, and so was this one, especially having Craig there with that Louisiana-style food that he prepares. On April 14th, I went to the American Legion for a fundraiser for the 4th of July committee. It was well represented, and they had an absolute great band down there. Just like Councilmember Smalls said, I attended the Cats fundraiser on April 17th at Lido's Pizza. I was there for lunch, and it is a great organization, and you can tell the difference in our community due to the effect of them getting the cats and getting them all neutered and spayed. There is another one, I believe, in May, and it's going to be at Denny's, and that one's going to run like from 6 in the morning for almost 24 hours, so that's a long one. But they do donate 20% of their earnings to cats. And the other thing, which is a great organization, which will be on the 28th, will be Side by Side. There has on the 28th of April at the National Wildlife Visitor Center, and that starts at 9:30. You could either ride a bike, You could jog or you could walk. And that, too, is a great organization. That pretty much concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. DeWalt. Ms. Nicholas.
Thank you. Just to correct Fred, the public meeting for the Laurel information meeting is going to be May 7th at 6:30, and it will be at the Laurel Beltsfield Club. I, too, attended the Business Resource Fair. I'd just like to compliment our Economic Development Department. Well attended, big buzz in the community, a lot of great feedback. Last Thursday, I also attended the City in the Park. Saturday, there were a number of events I went to. I assisted our public works staff with the recycling. That was a great turnout. I also went to the Laurel Cats fundraiser. I think all of us council members were there at different times, including the mayor. I also attended the spring block party that was at the Town Center of Laurel on Saturday. That was Sunday, I believe, Saturday. And then I attended the Love in Laurel Community Day that was at the First Baptist Church of Laurel. So it was a full weekend, busy weekend. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. First of all, congratulations to the Community Redevelopment Authority on the Goody House ribbon cutting today. This was one of the structures that was identified by the Historic District Commission as being a building of significance. So it'll be saved, renovated, and used by the citizens of Laurel. Tuesday, April 10th, we had the mobile mayor at SIPS at C Street Flats. Saturday, April 14th, I attended St. Mary's 175th anniversary gala. It was a sold-out event. They raised about $50,000. One of the uses they're going to put that money to is to increase the security of the doors into the church. You look at the original church, the doors are not secure. So they're going to secure those doors. Wednesday, April 18th, we had the mayor in the park. Saturday, April 21st, I did not make it to Anthony Brown's town hall meeting, but I did go by after I got done at Side by Side, and there was no parking, so we're going to have to talk to him about where he has his meeting the next time. I don't know how many people were in the room. Wasn't that many people?
There were a lot of things going on.
Yeah, it was. Okay, well, we need to take a look at that because there wasn't enough parking. Side by Side here at City Hall. This is Joe's advisory committee. It's really interesting that they're doing surveys now of the different schools that they're in, and it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the Pilate High School Gala this year. But I do want to take the opportunity to congratulate Pilate alumni Police Chief Richard McLaughlin. He received the Distinguished Service Award, and it's given to those who have directly and positively impacted and served in the community. Congratulations, Rich, on a well-deserved recognition. That concludes my report. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Condolences to Bruce Cole with the Department of Public Works on the loss of his wife, Judy. Also, condolences to Lewis, which we called him Louis Davenport, which is a longtime member of the Laurel Volunteer Rescue Squad, just an all-around fine individual. And Louis passed away last week. Let me thank everyone, all the department heads and all the vendors and those that came out for the open house. As you know, when we had the windstorm, we ended up having to cancel the open house. I thought it was very well attended, both vendors and by the public for rescheduling. So Joanne, in particular, kudos to your department for helping set up and the Laurel Civic Improvement Committee and all the departments that really were here and attended and made sure that we got the public notification out. So thank you all. I did last week have the opportunity, which is why I wasn't at the council meeting, to attend Sine Die at the Maryland Legislature. It was their 90-day session. I want to go down and talk about and make sure a couple bills got out of committee and got voted on before midnight. So that's where I was. My time with the mayor we had at the Anderson Murphy Community Center. I want to thank those citizens that came out, as well as on April the 10th we did the mobile mayor at C Street Flats. Thank those residents that attended as well. And on the 13th we had was invited by Senator Cardin to municipal officials luncheon and talked about a lot of different issues. MagLift was one of those. Funding, the budget, all of the things that affect all levels of government. And appreciate Senator Cardin coming, giving his perspective on where we're at and what we can expect down the road. The opioid crisis town hall meeting at the Methodist Church. I want to thank the church for doing that. The chief, I want to thank you and all the panelists that were there. Then on April the 14th, which was Saturday, I got to throw out the first pitch at opening day at the Laurel Little League. And good thing I'm not a pitcher, but it made it to the plate. It just kind of curved off a little bit. So they had over roughly 225 players that are in the Little League. Very good organization. American Legion supports them by allowing them to use their fields as well. But just was real happy to do that and be part of that. We did have a mobile mayor as well at the Evolution at the town center, and again I want to thank staff that came out for that as well. We're limiting certain staff to those, and then I did attend the executives State of the Economy breakfast meeting last week. We did hold our first city hall in the park. I want to thank those residents that attended as well, and that was at the Cypress Street ball field and park. And then I did have the opportunity to attend the 8th president being sworn in at Capital Technology University, which is on the old Speedway track for those that have been around for a while over on Springfield Road. And Dr. Bradford Sims is the new president. We wished him the best. Look forward to partnering and working with him as he moves forward. And on the April the 21st, we did have the Department of Public Works recycling and electronics. Marty, how much did we bring in? Did I miss that? It was a little slow at first, but then it started, actually right after I left, it all started coming in, so I left just in time. But I want to thank Department of Public Works for the job that they do on that. That is probably a very worthwhile program. We do it twice a year, and I know the residents appreciate it. I did have the opportunity to attend the Side-by-Side Advisory Council meeting, as well as the Granville-Goody Park cleanup. Let me thank Joanne and all those that came out as well. And I'm sorry I didn't make it to the First Baptist Church Community Day, but I did have the opportunity later that evening to attend the Laurel Lions Wrestling Club banquet and award ceremony over at the Robert J. DePietro Community Center. Again, another worthwhile program that just has really taken off, and they're again looking for space, looking for mats, those things, and they're again, we're very happy to take part in that as well. April the 26th is Arbor Day in the city of Laurel. We'll be doing a tree planting at Emancipation Park. On May the 5th at 11:30 until 3 is Lake Fest at Granville-Goody Park. On May the 9th is from 9 to 11:30 is Discovery Day on Main Street. It starts at it starts at SIP on C Street. And then May the 10th is the Employee Awards ceremony. We would like to report that because at City Hall will close at 1 p.m. for the awards ceremony. And then May the 12th from 9 until 4 is the Main Street Festival. And I also had the opportunity, I'll say I went over for a pizza at Lido's, but I went over there for the Laurel Cats. Let me just acknowledge the work that Helen Woods and all her volunteers do. You know, this city was listened to what she had to say several years ago. We put a small group together. We were one of the first municipalities to do TNR, trap, neuter, and return. I think, as you heard, it has paid dividends in the city. The feral cats are not running all over the place. Do we still have them? Yes, but not like we did. And I want to thank and acknowledge Helen and her group for that as well. The budget is required by charter to be submitted to the mayor and to the council by May the 1st. We will have that by May the 1st, if not a few days sooner, and it'll be available for the public on May the 1st as well. And you talked about 6:30 already. Good. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me just take a minute to recognize Mayor DePietro, who's with us again tonight. We appreciate him stopping in to make sure we're keeping things straight here on the council and the mayor's office. With that, I'll move to the general public hearing, and I'll open the general public hearing at 7:32. I have no one signed up to speak. Is there anyone wishing to speak?
I don't have my letter. You got appointments letter.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. No, I do.
You do have those.
Let me regress. They're going to keep me straight here.
Sorry,
I apologize. We have another agenda item, which is mayor's appointments. Marilyn Byers to the Arts Council. Bahardi Drova to the Arts Council. And a reappointment of Tommy Skaggs to the Ethics Commission. These are known residents of the city of Laurel. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, I move for approval of the appointments and reappointments as presented.
Thank you. Mr. Smalls, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. Any discussion? Call the roll, Ms. Rao.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mr. DeWalt?
Yes.
Mr. Sidnor?
Yes.
President Les?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. I apologize. It took it out of order. So let me move now to the general public hearing, and I'll open it up for a second time at 7:34. No one signed up to speak. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Seeing no one, I will close the general public hearing at 7:34 and a half. There's nothing else to come before the council. Meeting's adjourned.